The land near the old Sangamon River is quiet now, but in the summer of 1812, the wind there whispered with something colder than silence. Locals say the trees haven't grown straight in over 200 years, and if you follow the deer paths just right, they'll take you to a place the maps have long since erased. That place was once known as Whistler's Grove, and at the heart of it stood a whitewashed manor with peeling paint and hand-carved eaves, named St. Harmonia's House for Lost and Wayward Children. What started as a charitable refuge became, over time, a place spoken of only in whispers, a sanctuary that saw 45 children vanish over the course of one suffocating summer. They never came home. It began with a war. While the newly formed United States clashed with Britain along distant coastlines inland, in the vast unsettled woods of Illinois Territory, something else stirred. St. Harmonia's, operated by the elusive Sister Merelda Vaughn, had been built with funds from an obscure Eastern congregation known only as the Pale Fold. Records of them are incomplete. Their religious texts, when found, often contain crossed-out lines and blank pages, as though something had been deliberately removed. The home opened in the spring of 1811, taking in orphans of cholera outbreaks and displaced settler children. Local settler families thought it a blessing, a missionary's kindness, a place where their children could be fed, clothed, and taught scripture in peace. But on June 3, 1812, 11-year-old Anna Murren disappeared. Staff claimed she had simply run away, but Anna's younger brother, Caleb, whispered something else. They took her, he told a local miller weeks later, downstairs where the walls don't like to be watched. The miller, Walter Hemsley, wrote this down in his ledger. That same ledger would be found buried in a chest in the woodshed behind the Hemsley house in 1914, its final pages smeared with blood and sap. By mid-July, 16 children were gone. By August 19th, the count reached 45. Then, without explanation, St. Harmonia's burned to the ground. In 1876, a widowed folklorist named Caroline Ind Moore traveled through Illinois collecting stories of frontier hauntings. In a tiny Lutheran village outside Decatur, she interviewed Matthias Boone, who at 76 was nearly blind but still lucid. Boone had lived at St. Harmonia's as a boy, one of the few survivors. In Caroline's journal, which is now held in private archives, Boone is quoted saying, "You don't understand. It wasn't Sister Merelda who took them. It was the house, the thing beneath it. We heard it, singing." When pressed further, Boone described the song, a low, rhythmic hum that only the children could hear. It came from beneath the chapel floor. Those who followed it would vanish within days, either into the woods or down into the sealed hall below the nursery. Indmore's journal features a hand-sketched map of the original house layout, with one curious addition: a door beneath the east stairwell labeled "No Keyhole, No Sound." In 1931, during the Great Depression, a team of WPA workers digging a foundation near the original site of St. Harmonia's uncovered the stone foundation of a sub-basement. Hidden behind a crumbling false wall, they found a sealed iron door. Behind it, a pitch-black corridor lined with child-sized beds still neatly made. The walls were lined with wood, but underneath it, carved directly into the stone, were names. First names only, scrawled with crude symbols and numbers beside them. Each bed had a small wooden box beneath it. Inside each, scraps of parchment, folded cloth dolls, and in some, fragments of human teeth. But the most disturbing artifact recovered was a scroll, found rolled behind a loose brick in the corner. Written in an archaic blend of Latin and Proto-Germanic, it took years to translate. What it described was a ritual of evanescence, an offering made not of death, but of silence. The ritual demanded that the child vanish without scream, without trace, without memory. In exchange, the land would be blessed, crops would thrive, disease would vanish, and for a while it did. In 1965, during the renovation of the historic archives at the University of Illinois, a weathered leather-bound book was found misfiled under agricultural studies. It was the journal of Sister Merelda Vaughn, dated from 1811-1812. Its pages are sporadic, some are torn, Others are soaked in wax, but one entry dated August 2nd stands out. The walls know their names. I tried to save Anna. I fasted and bled and called his name in the dark. But the house doesn't belong to him. It belonged to the ones that walked here long before we knelt. I hear their hunger beneath the soil. They do not want prayers. They want children. Later entries become incoherent. Some are simply lists of names, repeated over and over, sometimes upside down. The final legible line, scrawled across the last page. If no one remembers them, they stay fed. If their names are read, the doors reopen. The journal was quietly placed into private storage and never entered into the university's official archive catalog. In 1997, a group of amateur historians led by Dr. Helena Carr, intrigued by Endmore's journal and the Boone testimony, organized a search of the Sangamon forest. They tracked down the original coordinates using pre-Civil War maps. They found nothing on the surface, but deep in the undergrowth, following the curve of the old deer paths, they came upon a clearing with 45 saplings, each unnaturally slender and twisted. Each one had a rusted nail embedded in its trunk, placed exactly 3 feet from the ground. Carr's team set up camp for 3 nights. The only surviving member of the group, Jonas Kell, now lives in assisted care in Wisconsin. In a rare 2012 interview, he described waking on the second night to a sound like humming or chanting, echoing through the trees. It was the children. I saw them. They weren't hurt, but they weren't alive. They walked in a circle, slow. Their mouths were open, but no sound came out. When asked what happened on the 3rd night, Kell grew agitated. They took her, Dr. Carr. The moment she said Anna's name aloud, the trees bent toward her, the roots moved. We tried to stop it. The camp was found deserted by a search party 3 days later. Only Kell remained, unconscious, curled at the base of one of the twisted trees. In his hand was a parchment with the name Anna Murren written in charcoal and crossed out with red ink. No official investigation was launched. The local authorities attributed the disappearance of the historians to disorientation, exposure, and natural hazards. The clearing with the 45 trees was never documented on GPS. Locals say the woods rearrange themselves. Paths change, compasses spin. Today, those who speak of St. Harmonias do so carefully. Urban explorers and ghost hunters have tried to find the foundation site. Most come back empty-handed. Some do not come back at all. But those who do report strange audio interference in their cameras, soft humming like the vibration of a choir deep underground. In 2021, an anonymous YouTube user uploaded a short video entitled, "Anna, Are You There?" The video lasts 14 seconds. It shows nothing but trees, but in the background, barely audible, a small voice responds, "Yes, but I'm not alone." The video was deleted 3 hours later. The user account vanished, and once again, the silence of Whistler's Grove closed over it all, like soil pressed over a long, forgotten grave. No arrests, no memorial, only names that were never meant to be read aloud.